Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is a 2017 action-adventure game developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. It is a standalone expansion to Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. The player controls Chloe Frazer, who seeks the Tusk of Ganesh in the Western Ghats mountain range of India with the help of ex-mercenary Nadine Ross to prevent a ruthless warlord and his army of insurgents from igniting a civil war in the country. It is the first Uncharted game not to feature the series' protagonist, Nathan Drake. Like other Uncharted games, The Lost Legacy is played from a third-person perspective. Players use firearms and can use melee combat and stealth to defend against enemies. The player also solves puzzles incorporating several platformer elements to advance the narrative and navigate the game world on foot or by vehicle. Development of The Lost Legacy began soon after the release of Uncharted 4: A Thief's End in May 2016. It builds upon the gameplay elements established in the previous Uncharted titles with more open-ended gameplay. Chloe, a supporting character who had appeared in the previous Uncharted games as a friend, love interest and associate to Nathan Drake, is the focus of the game, with the story, design and gameplay elements reflecting her character. Claudia Black, Laura Bailey and Troy Baker reprise their roles as Chloe, Nadine and Sam respectively through voice and motion capture, and assisted writer Josh Scher and creative director Sean Esker with the development of the characters and story. The Lost Legacy was released for PlayStation 4 in August of 2017, and a remastered version for PlayStation 5 was released in January 2022. Now, initially, the teams experimented with using Nathan Drake, the main protagonist from the previous Uncharted games, as a secondary character, but found that it felt too superfluous. Several other characters were also considered as protagonists, including Charlie Cutter, Nathan's daughter Cassie, Nathan's brother Sam Drake, and friend Victor Sullivan. The team, though, felt Sullivan's age would hinder the gameplay. They decided to follow Chloe Frazer and Nadine Ross, who first appeared in Uncharted 2 Among Thieves in 2009 and Uncharted 4, respectively. The team opted to focus on new relationship with established secondary characters in the Uncharted series. While previous Uncharted games follow Pacific historic figures such as Marco Polo and Henry Avery, The Lost Legacy instead focuses on the region and surrounding philosophy and culture due to the shorter development time, allowing for less intensive research. The writers particularly focus on Hinduism and surrounding mythology when researching for the story. With The Lost Legacy, the team aimed to include the slightly more fantastical feel from the first three Uncharted games, which was absent from Uncharted 4 due to its very grounded story. Now, as a game, Uncharted Lost Legacy is another fantastic addition to the Uncharted series. This time, however, you play as Chloe Frazer instead of Nathan Drake, and it is an interesting change, yet very enjoyable. I mean, Uncharted is so synonymous with Nathan, but it is very easy to change and adapt to playing as Chloe, and frankly, I really enjoyed it, with some tie-ins to the original game series being thrown in here and there, including obviously seeing Sam Drake back, which was an unexpected and most enjoyable addition. I must say, I would have liked maybe to see Nathan or Sully appear and work with Nathan as a secondary character, something instead of playing as him. That would have been quite fun for a change, but c'est la vie. Chloe has always been one of the most interesting, fascinating characters in the Uncharted series. The enigmatic Australian thief who is a strong character who aggressively looks out for her own interests, although of course in The Lost Legacy here she evolves into a more heroic and selfless individual. Chloe was designed to provide a darker counterpart to Drake initially, while Claudia Black, who voices the character, said her personality reminds her a lot of Indiana Jones. And so playing as Chloe brings a new breath of fresh air to the series, which I most enjoyed. I did, however, have to get used to playing now alongside Nadine Ross. I mean, in Uncharted 4, she is such a baddie, if you will, and so now working alongside her was rather an odd juxtaposition. But Naughty Dog makes it work, as they do most things in this series, and she grows on you as you realise she is now reformed. The only thing I can really criticise, though, is Laura Bailey's take on a South African accent. I mean, it's okay, but as a South African myself, I really don't find that she caught to the essence of a South African accent perfectly. I really wish they would have cast a South African voice artist to do this role more justice. The graphics are absolutely amazing, and frankly, the amount of screenshots I took just reminded me just how beautiful the designs are. Asif is an excellent antagonist, and he's deceptively evil, villainous, and more than steps up to the level of the other baddies, as it were, in the series, although I wouldn't say he was the best out of all of them. I loved the story surrounding the Tusk of Ganesh and learning more about the Hoysala Empire. Overall, though, it's another stunning, beautiful game in this fantastic series. A bit short in length and maybe not as strong as the previous games, it still acts as a welcome addition to this most enjoyable series, and I really enjoyed playing as Chloe. Uncharted Lost Legacy gets an 8.5 out of 10.